All right, welcome into Prop 5 on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick at 5 Reasons Sports. I got Eric. I got Caesar. Of course, Caesar's with Big Picks Energy, so make sure also that you go to Big Picks Energy and use the code 5 there as well. He'll tell you more about that before we go. Of course, Eric's a big part of our Dolphins coverage, unfortunately for him. And the new scouting combine on the Dolphins was out yesterday, so make sure that you check that on the feed. David Eversole is producing. We are here with PrizePicks on the show. Use code 5 FIVE. Put down $5. Here's the deal: code 5. Put down $5. You get 50 to play. We recommend you start with 10 though. Play 10. Use the code 5. Get 50 to play. Again, it's PrizePicks.com, the Google Play Store, or the Apple App Store. Voted the #1 sports app for the last 2 years. So check it out. Again, it's PrizePicks.com. All right, we've got 2 NFL games today. Wildcard weekend has begun. 2 NFL games, and then we'll get to the Heat game tonight too. They're in Portland. Never settle. The Joe Cronin Bowl. There's still no Jimmy Butler for that one. Let's get to the first of the games though. Let's do Chargers. Texans here. So I'm going to go through the list, but let's look at the Texans first. Eric, what would be your play here?
So as far as my plays for the Texans go, I'm looking at a game where I don't foresee Houston really. Not that I don't think they're going to be competitive, but I think the Chargers win this one pretty easily. So if I'm playing anything, I'm actually playing C.J. Stroud over 34 pass attempts. I think they're going to have to get to a point where they're throwing the football all over the field, trying to keep up with the Chargers in this one.
Okay, and I'm looking at Stroud's numbers here. Let's see, 31, 39, 26, 20, 34 in the last 4 games that he's played full games. Okay, so what do you like on the Texans side, Caesar?
So, piggybacking off of what Eric said, this is a risky play I have here, but it goes hand in hand with what he said. Deontay Johnson over 1.5 receptions. This guy's on his last opportunity right now. If he doesn't perform today, if he doesn't catch the balls that are thrown his way, he may be in the CFL next year. So low-hanging fruit, 1.5 receptions, Deontay Johnson over. I know it's a little risky, but based on what Eric is saying, game script-wise, plus the context of this guy is like he's burned through so many opportunities, over 1.5 receptions is a prop I really like.
Okay. Let's take a look at the Chargers. Now, by the way, on the Texans side for me, I do kind of like Stroud over the 231.5 for similar reasons that Eric talked about, even though he hasn't been over that much of late. It's been kind of an up and down season for him. But the one that I like a lot, is Dalton Schultz on the 4 receptions. Again, throwing the ball around a lot. Go to the target that you know you can find there. I think he'll be able to work the middle of the Chargers defense a little bit. So I would play that. Chargers, what do we think, Eric?
So for the Chargers, yeah, I'm looking at Ladd McConkey on his yards. I think it's at 77.5 for Ladd McConkey today on his yards. He's very clearly become the #1 option in this Chargers offense. And he's gone over that number pretty comfortably. I think that ends up playing out once again for the Chargers and McConkey in this one. He's just such a reliable option for Justin Herbert right now.
Caesar?
So my pick is one of my favorite props up there right now. And this is very good synergy we have here because it's all based on the same game script. Let's say the Chargers are up. I like Gus Edwards over 5.5 rush attempts. All right, check this out. Now, the Texans have a good rush defense, but they're middle in the pack when it comes to rush attempts. Not only that, this guy has hit the over 100% head-to-head, 100% in his last 5. He's gone over 5.5, 90% in his last 10. And if the game script is like Eric is saying, they're going to rush the ball, trying to control the clock. So Gus Edwards over 5.5 rush attempts is one of my favorite props.
Yeah, and Harbaugh, we know in these situations, going to lean on the running game. He's done that consistently when he's gotten into playoff games, whether it's been in the NFL or it's been in college. I kind of like Joey Bosa over 1/4 of a sack today. It's not my favorite player, but I kind of think over 1/4 of a sack today, and actually you get the better play on that. So if that's something that you want to throw in there, that one was attractive to me. All right, let's look at the next game. We've got the Steelers. We've got the Ravens. I'll start with you this time, Caesar.
So this game is a little tougher for me. So these two divisional games in the playoffs are just weird, man. Like these teams know each other, so it's just hard to predict. I wouldn't go on any overs. Zay Flowers is out. There's a prop I like. It's a little risky. I have to say that ahead, but it's Lamar Jackson over 8.5 rush attempts. He's hit the over. The last 3 games he's played without Zay Flowers, he's hit the over on rush attempts. All right. Some of those Mark Andrews was also out, so he didn't have many passing options, but I still like it today. There's going to be, man, I don't know if they're going to be able to pass the ball too much. So Lamar Jackson over 8.5 rush attempts is the prop I like the best from this game.
8.5 rush attempts for Caesar. Eric?
Yeah, I'm actually going to stick with kind of a similar theme with no Zay Flowers. I think a guy like Justice Hill is actually going to get quite a few opportunities. I'm going to go over his rushing and receiving yards at 29.5 yards. He's gone over that 4 out of 5 ball games. And in the last game against Pittsburgh, he was well on his way to getting there before he got hurt. Had the big 25, 30-yard run and just went out. But I think he goes over that number pretty comfortably today.
Okay, Isaiah Likely, last time against Pittsburgh, 29 receiving yards. I had 38 last week. Numbers 29.5. I don't see why they'd throw to him less when they have fewer offensive options today. So, and especially in a playoff game. So I'm going to play Likely over. Anything else on this game for either of the two of you?
I may be on George Pickens. The numbers bumped by 0.5 point, but he really needs a bounce back. I mean, he had a horrific last game. All those drops, 4 receptions. At the very worst, he's going to push. He's heavily favored to go over 3.5. I don't know if he gets to 5, but that's a prop I will throw in there if you want like a 5th for a flex or a 6th for a flex.
If we're doing anything with Pickens, I actually kind of like that longest reception at 25.5 yards. It feels like he's good for 130-yard reception just about every game.
And Russ sometimes when everything goes bad, he just chucks it up there and see what happens. He's good at making contested catches.
Yeah, he is, and we also know that he gets Russ will get on the move some in the game, and again the broken plays lead to those. All right, so we've got our NFL plays today. Also a Heat game tonight, 10-10 in Portland. No Jimmy, otherwise reasonably healthy. The Heat are obviously no Drew Smith, no Josh Richardson. Portland is awful, as we know. The Heat have sort of righted themselves at this point. I'll give you mine first as we kind of go through this. I feel, again, I can't play Bam because Bam was my biggest loser last year. So I'm staying away from him the entire season. If I had to play Bam tonight, I would go over the 4 assists tonight. They're using him a little bit more as a playmaker there. But my concern against Portland is even as bad, not as bad, but as challenged as the Heat are without Jimmy, Portland is so bad that the Heat beat them by like 50 last year. I'm a little bit concerned about them getting up and resting guys. The one I'm going to play is Duncan Robinson over 10.5 points and rebounds. Duncan, if you look at it, has been getting a bigger and bigger role in the offense. Didn't play a ton against Utah, but otherwise has been over the previous 3. So I'm going to go over on Duncan on the 10.5 points and rebounds tonight. And I know people are trending towards Jaquez. Last 3, 20, 18, 16, 14.5 points. Feels like a safe play. Again, they're using him a little bit more as a scorer right now without Jimmy. Eric, anything you like in this game?
Yeah, if I'm going to play anything in this game right now, if you can't have Jimmy Butler, you can have Serbian Jimmy Butler. Give me Niko Jovic over 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I feel like it's just the board hasn't really adjusted to what he's been doing over the last week and a half or so. So I think he goes over that number pretty comfortably.
Okay. Cesar, anything on the NBA side, this game or otherwise, that you might like?
That's the one I like.
Oh, we just lost him, I think. Okay, well, I think he likes it. So we're saying Jovic, the 18.5 points, rebounds, assists. Jaquez is mine tonight. Again, you're playing the young guys here, rolling with them. And I do think with Duncan, getting him more of those minutes along with Bam has been a priority for them. So if you want to stay up for that game, gives you something to do. Put down the code 5, get your $5, play 10, you get your 50. And away we go. Again, thanks to Eric. Thanks to Cesar, wherever he is. Big Picks Energy, use the code 5. David Eversole, thank you for producing. We'll be back tomorrow morning.